Hey, what's up guys? It's Cliff from TRD Pro. Brian and I are back with you today. We're going to be throwing in Raptor lights in this 2020 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. You already saw us put in these awesome Morimoto XB LED headlights. It gives the front end of this TRD Pro an awesome, sleek look. Not to mention, of course, the sequential turn signals. It's amazing. So now, by adding the Raptor lights, it's going to be a nice touch in giving the front end of this Toyota 4Runner a unique look all of its own.
Alright, like any other install, first thing we need to do is pop the hood. First thing we're going to do now, we're going to have to remove this cover panel. So all we're going to do is just push in on all the tabs. And we'll use our panel removal tool and just slide these out. Alright, we got all those out of the way. I'm just going to lift this up, set it to the side. Alright, so in our kit that we got these 4 lights. So all we got to do is we're just going to pick a location. We want to stick them in the grill. We're going to go with this row right here because they're pretty evenly spaced across the grill. So all we got to do is take one, stick the plug through, and these literally just pop into place. I'm just going to repeat the process with all 4 lights. Alright, so here we go. We got all 4 of our lights in place. So let's move to the inside and start running some wires. So in your kit that you get, you'll see this harness here has all the plugs. These are going to connect to the 4 lights that we just pushed into the grill. So what we've done here, we've taken this will actually run all the way down. We've run it kind of behind the battery, behind these connectors here, all the way back and through the grommet and the firewall. And that's actually run down inside to the fuse panel under the driver floorboard. Here's the grommet that we actually pulled out of the firewall. What we've gone ahead and done is taken a knife and just cut a slot down the middle, and that's what we'll eventually run our wires in the slot and then push this grommet back in there to make sure that our firewall is nice and sealed up. Okay, so we're inside the truck in the driver's side footwell. We've pulled the cover off of this fuse panel here. Here's our wires that we have brought in from the engine compartment. We have 2 things here. We have an add fuse, and then we have our grounding wire. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off this screw right here and use that as our grounding point. All we're going to do is slip that through there and then put it back. And we'll just get it a little snug. All right. We've located a fuse on our fuse panel that was labeled for ignition power. So we've added the fuse to the add fuse, and then we're just going to put it right here in this slot. It's, you go from the row closest to the outside, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down. It's between the 7.5 and 10 fuse in this truck. Make sure you check the fuse panel for your application. Like I said, it just has to be an ignition power source. All right, our added fuse is in. We're just going to tuck the wire back out of the way. We don't want to get our foot caught on it. It is important to note here that once you have this added fuse put in, the fuse panel cover is no longer going to fit and cover that up. So just make sure you keep it somewhere accessible so you have it as a reference point. And last thing we're going to do, we're going to let the brake off back to its normal position. We've got our wires connected inside in the fuse panel. The next thing we're going to do, now that we know we have enough wire pulled back that way, is we have our little grommet. Like I said, we took a knife and cut it in half. And it's going to be kind of hard to see, but basically we're going to take the wires, push it in the cut that we made, and then we'll put the grommet back in the firewall. And we'll show you that here in a second. Okay, so we put the grommet around the wires and then we just push it right back in the hole in the firewall. So that's all nicely sealed up. We shouldn't have to worry about any water or anything getting through the firewall. So let's continue to run our harness here. So what we've done, we went from where it came out of the firewall. We went behind this wiring harness here, continued to run it behind this relay fuse panel. Went behind here, tried to keep it as close to the fender as we could. We're going to come around the front of the battery. There's a space here right behind our Morimoto headlights that we installed that we're going to feed the plug in through. Again, keeping everything nice and tight to the fender. All right. And now we have our harnesses right here where we need to connect to our lights. So we'll start with the one that's furthest away. These literally just click right in. All right, so we got our wire run, we got all of our connections made, tidied up the wires, a couple of zip ties, just get them up out of the way, keep them down so we still have lots of room to get to what we need to. Nice clean install look. The only step we have left, we're just going to put the cover piece back on. Lay this back up here. All right, now we got to do is put all of our pop clips back. All right, here we go. Raptor lights are now completely installed. Truck's all back together. Quick, easy, simple facelift to the front of your 4Runner.
All right, guys, there you have it. So we've got the Raptor lights installed. They look super slick. It's just a nice addition, clean upgrade to the front end. And of course, the Morimoto XB LED headlights are super fantastic. Give a nice bright white light. You know, we talked a lot about looks today, but from a safety perspective, the more and better lighting that you have, the more you're going to be seen, which is always great from a safety perspective. You know, again, we feel like the upgrade speaks for itself. If you like what you saw today, please subscribe, follow along. Also, we're everywhere. www.trailgridpro.com on Facebook and Instagram. And as always, guys, have a blast out there.